listening to Mr. King.
Good morning, Coach.
Morning.
Coach Sims, as always, we appreciate you taking some time out of your schedule to join us. Coach, if you could please start us out with an opening statement regarding your team's most recent outing versus Alabama State.
Well, I think, it being homecoming, great atmosphere. A lot of our alums, a lot of fans showed up for the game. We ended up having to, play a really tough Alabama State football team. Went in 16-10 at the half. Thought we played a good first half, a solid first half in all three phases. We came back out after halftime and made a few mistakes. And honestly, three big plays, and that kind of put us in a bad position with the football game. Don't think we played terrible. We didn't tackle as well in the fourth quarter as we did, the first two quarters. But I saw some bright spots, and we fell asleep on special teams one time, and they got an onside kick on us, which set them up, for good field position to go down and get points out of that drive. But our defense is playing better. They're holding up. We're getting some guys back slowly. We'll have two more guys back this week on our defensive line. So looking forward to that, and, hoping that we have a better total game. Good first half, sometimes good second half, sometimes got to put four quarters together and play the whole time. And we know we're going to play a great team in Alcorn State this weekend.
Appreciate those opening comments, Coach Sims. Now open it for questions. If you do have any questions for Coach, please utilize the raise your hand feature to get your question in the queue for Coach Sims. Currently taking questions. Coach Sims, obviously this week your team will face Alcorn State. If you could just kind of talk about a little bit that matchup, obviously the exposure of the game being designated for HBCU Go, so a national broadcast.
Yeah, I mean, anytime you play an Alcorn State football team, and that's just Coach McNair and his staff, he's always done a great job with that, preparing his guys. They're going to come play. They're going to play hard. They're going to play hard. They're going to run around on defense. And, I was just watching film a little while ago, and I thought they had 13 people on the field. They were running around so much. They run and hit. They find the football. They do what all great defenses do. And, offensively, they're doing what their guy can do. And that's the main thing. And a lot of coaches hadn't figured that out yet, but he's managing the game. And that's all you need for a good quarterback to do, is manage the football game and distribute the ball where it needs to be. And that's what they do, and they're solid on special teams. So we know we have our work cut out for us. We have to get back to the drawing board and prepare for these guys and travel to Mississippi on Friday and get ready for a great football game on Saturday.
Next question goes to Dr. Cavill.
This is Kenyatta with Dr. Cavill's Inside the HBCU Sports Lab. Coach Sims, as you talked about excitement for your team, homecoming, playing really hard, but not quite getting it done. Talk about the play in terms of what your defense is able to do, in terms of trying to turn over the ball, play physical up front, but they're giving up some points this last couple of games.
Yeah, they have. And again, it's like I said, it's three big plays, and they all come from, a guy playing out of his gap. Something simple can cost you, 30, 40 yards on a run. With a guy, linebacker or defensive lineman playing out of their gap. We had a long pass where our two of our DBs got mixed up on a coverage, and they end up scoring on a long play there. So those are things that we have to eliminate. It doesn't happen often, but when you play good football teams, when those things do happen, then usually you pay for them, and the cost is big. So we have to make sure we stay away from those things, take care of the football offensively, and we got to stop the run on defense. And I think we did that for the most part on Saturday. Like I said, we had two guys play out of gaps twice, and it cost us. So I think we just have to do a better job of continuing to keep our defensive linemen fresh and rotate those guys in so we can not have MAs at crucial moments in the game.
This week you face Alcorn, sophomore quarterback, I should say. They got his first start on the road in a tough environment last year. But more importantly, coming in that they like to run the ball, and Howard has been extremely good at doing that, over 1,000 yards already on the season. Talk about what you saw on film from him and how you schematically going to talk about the importance of those gaps with a player like him coming into the matchup.
Well, I think, first and foremost, you have to give credit where credit is due. And he's an exceptional back. Can't take anything away from that. He's a hard runner. You can tell the game means something to him. You can tell he loves to play the game because he runs hard every play. He's a guy that you don't have to worry about looking for. He'll be there and he's going to let it be known where he is. So we have to do, just like I said, we have to have gap integrity. We have to make sure that we're playing off our blocks and that we wrap up on this guy because he will run out of arm tackles. He is that type of back. So we just have to make sure that we're doing those necessary things where we're playing with gap integrity. We're making sure that we're not allowing their offensive line to create a new line of scrimmage and allowing him to get started. That's the thing. A back like him, you have to stop him before he gets started. And, once you give him a 2 or 3 yard start, then it's tough to bring him down. So we want to go ahead and stop him before that happens.
Do I have time for one follow-up question?
Yes, sir, you do.
Thank you. Want to talk about your quarterback play. Jalen Jones seems to continue to improve and get better on the season. Didn't throw an interception, got a touchdown pass last weekend. How do you see his improvement in terms of leading the offense thus far this season?
I thought, Jalen's play has been great. We've just been trying to get him to understand that he has to get down sometimes. I think sometimes he thinks he's a running back. He want to run over people, but we have to make sure that he gets down and he does what he needs to do to protect himself. But I think he's played solid. 2 games before, he had a couple turnovers, just trying to force some things. But at the end of the day, he does exactly what he needs to do to, I think, help move this offense down the field. And he's been doing that so far.
Thank you, Coach. Good luck this weekend. Look forward to the matchup.
Thank you.
We have time for one more question for Coach Sims, Cookman. Coach Sims, as always, we appreciate your time. We do got one final question that'll go to Ken Rashad.
Yeah, thank you, Andrew. Coach, I do want to ask you, and I'm going to be asking several coaches during the course of the call about the importance of voting and the fact that midterm elections are scheduled for tomorrow. If you would take a moment to express just how important this might be, and if this is something that maybe you've had a conversation with your players at some point up to this point.
It's very important.
Of voting.
It's very important. And just last week, I think it was, what day was it? It was Tuesday. We marched with our whole team down to the polls. That's something that we take very seriously. And every spring, anytime they have voter registration, we have people come in to get all our guys signed up. Obviously, it's their choice, but we encourage it. And we had, a number of guys. It was over 45 guys that joined the march to go down to vote. So we take that very seriously. We try and explain our guys about, the importance of voting and not just wanting to stand in or march and do
the job of controlling them, throwing the football. So we were able to limit their big plays in the passing game. And then offensively, we were able to do enough in the run game, not prolific numbers that we may have liked, but to be able to control the ball and have great balance. We ran the ball 35 times and threw it 34 times, which is right there where you want to be, around 50-50. And, so again, I thought as a whole, played a solid game. It was able to come away with a huge win to extend our home winning streak down to 15 games and our active winning streak to 7 games. So put that one to bed. And now we're back to go up against a really tough Alabama State team that's playing good football right now, their best ball. Winners of 3 straight. So we know they'll be ready for us to come. Rattler Nation's excited to travel to Montgomery, and I'm looking forward to another really good football game with the really good Alabama State football team.
Appreciate those comments, Coach Simmons. First question goes to Ken Rashad.
Coach Ken Rashad, HBCU Sports. With respect to your win, the one thing I do want to ask is you're in the middle of a winning streak, and there has been some level of consistency not only this year, but it's a winning streak that goes back to last season. When you look at what this team has done for the past couple of years, when you put in consideration the fact that the team is now, with the SWAC and so forth. Talk about the assessment of how you've been able to be successful with wins, and basically talk about the transition from the MEAC to the SWAC, and just how you've been able to win games throughout the course of the season so far and the last couple of years?
Obviously, I don't do it alone. One, surrounded by a phenomenal group of coaches that pour into these young men every day, give blood, sweat, and tears, just like the players do. Great support staff that the unsung heroes, an administration that is supportive, and an alumni base that's supportive, and a group of guys that really buy into what we're trying to do every day. And that's really what it boils down to. So thankful to have such a strong culture here, and adversity doesn't really affect us the way that, maybe with some other teams, places, or you name it, because we do face our share of adversity here. But just the ability to continue to keep our eyes on the prize and understand the brand that we're attached to, and how important it is for us to go out every single day and represent that brand by the way we work and the way we go about our business. And I think that's why we've had the success that we've been able to have, as opposed, and also bringing in some really good football players.
And as a follow-up, Coach, I do want to ask and get your thoughts about the importance of voting and the fact that mid-season elections will begin on tomorrow. What are your thoughts and the importance of voting, and if any, has a message been relayed to your team with respect to the importance of voting?
Yeah, we've been talking about it now for a couple of weeks, and obviously we're at a school that supports advocacy. We've done it for years and years, and we know that people that look like us have fought, have bled, have even died for the right to go out and vote. And so anyone who doesn't exercise that, I think maybe doesn't fully understand what has to go into it to make this possible. And so we really try to convey that message to our players. That's why we try to educate them as much as we can. When we go on the road, try to do educational things. Right there in Montgomery, I was able to go to the Lynching Museum a few years back, and in process now trying to maybe even get to the Civil Rights Museum there, just to expose our guys to some of the struggles that we went through as a people, and maybe help them understand a little bit more why it's important to go out and exercise our voices.
I appreciate that, Coach. Thank you.
Next question goes to Dr. Cavill.
This is Kenyatta, Dr. Cavill's inside the HBCU Sports Lab. Coach Simmons, how are you doing this morning?
I'm good. I'm just waiting on my gift, if you know what I'm talking about. So I'll be waiting on it.
Yes, and it is coming. I must admit, I also like your pullover there. So maybe there's an exchange to take place. But with that being said, you're obviously an emotional guy in things, but usually on the field, you're pretty stoic. And I had a chance to watch the game, excellent game by both teams in that, obviously. But that would be the final touchdown that you had that put you up 27 to 16, I believe, or 26-16. I saw a little fist pump where you got a little excited and emotional. Talk about how that point in the game was emotional for you to see your team be successful on a third down conversion, which obviously was important in terms of what you were trying to get done to get the victory. But speak a little bit about that.
I think people that know me on a day-to-day basis, would describe me as probably a laid-back guy. I don't show much emotion in many things, but Thankfully, the camera's not on me for 60 minutes. They kind of flashed to me. Game. If they'd stayed on me, you probably feel differently about that stoic comment, because I do show a lot of passion and emotion during the game. I love what I do. I love Pete. I love watching our guys be successful because the work we put in, they deserve it. They deserve to go out and play well on Saturdays. And so when they make those big plays and they put our team in a position to win, it's a very exciting time. Our fans are excited. As coaches, we're excited. The players are excited. And that's what football does for us. It just gives us that feel-good moment, when maybe things aren't going so well in our personal lives. So, I sometimes I think I'm maybe a little bit too passionate in football, but I'd rather be that way than the other way around. And I reserve my stoic demeanor for all the other times in life. But in football, I'm gonna always try to be pretty passionate about what I do.
Point well taken. Follow-up question is about this next matchup. You alluded to it in terms of the fans being excited to go to Montgomery. Obviously, the proximity of this matchup can be something that really makes this exciting for both fans going back and forth to the home feature. And this year, it features two teams that are playing extremely well on win streaks themselves. Obviously, you come in the matchup 7-2, they're 6-3 in terms of what they're doing overall. And then there's just one game difference in terms of the conference standing as you chase with only 2 games left, Jackson State, without going into that part of it. Talk about why this game is important in terms of what you overall want to get done and some of the key matchups in terms of what you do with Xavier on the offensive side of the ball as the wide receiver and what they have as defensive backs that are very strong in terms of what they are able to play thus far this season.
Yeah, again, I have to tip my hat to Eddie and the job that he's done there, coming into year one and really changing that program. And they've done a phenomenal job, won some really big games. And, again, they're really setting the foundation there that's sustainable. And so for us, this game has a lot of implications. Our playoff push is on the line, our winning streak there, our conference standing, we're still a game back. So, if something happens with Jackson and we want to be right there in position. And I think really the fact that we are two teams that have a lot to offer prospective student athletes, this game can have huge implications as far as recruiting, right? As to which program is, is top dog right now, right? And so there are enough reasons to get motivated for this game. And we talked to our guys about most of those, and we feel like we're on our way with the preparation to give ourselves the best chance to go up there and, hopefully pull off a big win in hostile territory.
Thank you, Coach. Look forward to the matchup this weekend. Good luck, and your package is in the mail.
Thank you.
Coach, we've got about 1 minute available in your session. We're going to take a final quick question from James Hill.
Hey, Coach. Good morning, James Hill. I hope you and all the gentlemen are well on the highest of 7 hills, and the ladies. But talk a little bit about the 7-game winning streak going in on the road to Montgomery, and just the fact that you want to play well defensively. Give us your assessment going in.
Well, going to the game, the emphasis is not the winning streak. The emphasis is being 1-0 by the time we leave Montgomery Saturday afternoon. And that's our focus. That's what we have to make sure we keep our mind set on. When you start looking at streaks and those type of things, you sometimes lose focus of the main thing. So we got to prepare to have our best week of practice. This is a big game of the season for us. And we got to make sure.
What's going on, fellas?
Hey, Coach, how you doing, sir?
Awesome.
Coach, as always, appreciate you take some time to join us and actually right on time. So, Coach, if we could please, could you start us out with an opening statement regarding your team's most recent outing versus Southern?
First and foremost.
I'm sorry, Texas Southern. Yes, sir.
Yeah, TSU is. Well, Coach, put up a heck of a fight. Great character. We, usually we play teams and we deal with all the foolishness and the talking back and forth. This coach did a great job. Very great character team. First sellout. TSU. I'm sorry. We're happy with that because we're happy with all the SWAC helping one another reach those pinnacles. We're proud of that. Fast start, 21 points in the first quarter, didn't score the second quarter. Not indicative of how we get down. In red zone, we scored 45 times. Held them to 3 out of 16 on third downs. we were penalized. That's not who we are. 13 for 113 yards. Quarterback, running backs, receivers played well. Cam Silman played well as well. Overall, it was a great effort. It was a great effort, but it was a tremendous showing of support by TSU as well as Jackson State fans. It really was. Now the traffic was horrendous getting out of there because of, thank God, Houston won the World Series, and God bless Texas. I'm a Texas resident as well, but God bless it. So I'm happy with how everything transpired.
Appreciate those opening comments, Coach. First question goes to Dr. Cavill.
This is Kenyatta, Dr. Cavill's inside the HBCU Sports Lab. Coach
Yes,
Prime, how's it going?
Awesome, my man.
Apologize that I didn't get a chance to talk with you after the game in the postseason. I had my son, 8 years old there, and he was ready to get through that crowd. He was excited about being at this matchup, seeing all the fanfare. So as you talked about, both teams playing really well, the capacity, and he's an Astro fan. He thinks he can play a little baseball too. As well,
trust me, we need more African-American kids with a bat in their hand, a baseball bat at that.
I'll make sure he knows that in terms of that. But continue to talk about your play, your running back, Wilkinson, in terms of what he was able to do. Very strong in that matchup, and the offensive line being able to get some push.
Well, you got to understand, TSU surrendered, I think, of over 190 yards a game for the season on an average. And we set our goals to go out there and run the ball, establish the run. They had a defense that they dropped 7 or 8 consistently. They didn't want Shador to shred them apart like a lot of teams are doing now. They're dropping into coverage and they're daring us to run, trying the physicality of our offense. Our offense was extremely physical. We ran the ball tremendously successful. We realized that Mr. Wilkinson was close to 200 yards, so we made sure he got that. He eclipsed that. And that was a collective effort, coaching staff, as well as the linemen and play calling. It was tremendous, and he ran his butt off. This kid is a pro, man. He's physical. He's tough. He can run outside the tackles. He could run inside the tackles. He don't lay the ball around often. He could catch out of the backfield. He could block. He's a pro. He really is a pro. And his character is what I would really hang my hat on. This kid has tremendous character, never complains, never bickers. Remember, I think he was 6th string when he came over to us, and I just kept seeing flashes of, who is this darn kid? I wasn't familiar with him when he was on the 6th string or 7th string, something like that, but he worked his way up, and he's a great kid, and I'm proud of him.
Fascinating to hear the story of how he continues to work. Talking about working in dominance of this team and the mission that it's on. Your next matchup moving forward is against Alabama A&M. It's in Mobile. So you're back on the road in terms of what that looks like.
Yeah.
Talk about continue to move this team forward, and what do you want to see get done in that matchup against the Bulldogs?
Well, I want to be a lot more consistent. We need to lessen the penalties, the self-inflicted wounds. I mean, we had some penalties at some very opportune times, which troubled us a bit, and we can't fall prey to that. We got to be truly dominant. The way we started out the game, we got to continue that throughout the whole game. Then it would be crazy the way we could perform. We're still chasing that, having a valiant effort offensively, defensively, as well as special teams. But we have all the intangibles. We have to put it together. And I know it seems crazy that we're sitting where we're sitting. I'm still saying we got to put it together, but that's how we go about our business. That's how we practice. That's how we prepare. That's the expectation. I haven't falsified anything from you to you guys, you and you ladies. You know, from day one, I've been saying we got to dominate. That's the only way we're going to get to the ultimate goal of these guys going into the NFL and us winning it all, is to be dominant. And that's what we're chasing right now.
Look forward to the matchup. Thank you for your time, Coach Prime.
I look forward to this matchup as well. I can't wait.
Next question goes to James Hill.
Coach Prime, how you doing, sir?
Excellent, my man.
My man, talk a little bit about Shador Sanders, his development. He continues to carve him up. Each week he goes out and plays high quality football.
Well, Shador's consistency speaks volumes. His leadership ability, as well as me leaving on a Thursday, getting ready to go home, probably 5 o'clock, and I look out there and I'm seeing Shador walking on the practice field with his receivers, to go over routes, to make sure they got the checks and balances, to make sure they're where they're supposed to be. And it's unbelievable. I mean, when a coach is going home and you see that's a recipe of success. You don't see that much. A lot of people talk about it, but they're not about it. And a lot of people don't have the leadership ability to influence your whole receiving core to go out there with a center, a bag full of balls to go out there and get it done. So that speaks volumes of this kid and the way he prepares for the game. He's a bona fide leader. He's a coach's kid, so he knows the game. But I love how prepared he is for each contest. He's really prepared for each contest. And many people are dropping 7 or 8 into coverage on it to see if they could force us into doing something that they don't think we're balanced enough to do, and is run the football successfully. And then when we catch you blitzing and going to man, we take advantage of it because we have a receiving core that's unbelievable. We played with that Dallas Daniels last week, and most people forgot. I didn't forget. I texted him right after the game and make sure he's okay and make sure he know we still love him, and we can't wait till he fully heals, because I don't want him coming at the half stepping, because he has tremendous film this season. And speaking of Shedeur, also, I just saw a statistic. I have a scouting service scout our guys, so I would know. I like to know where we are. So I have another service scout us so they could tell me what the thought is out there. And if we eliminate the drop balls, his completion percentage would be around 80% or 82%. Just think about that.
That's big. That's big.
Yeah, but that shows the accuracy, and he's getting it there. But I mean, drops are coming; they coincide with the game, so that's going to happen.
Coach, you've maintained, and of course, we know you're happy at JSU and focusing on the Tigers' way of football. But every time there's a job that comes up, they throw your name around. Can you talk a little bit about that?
I think that's a blessing, isn't it? I mean, just imagine if every time there was a job at the Wall Street Journal or Sports Illustrated or ESPN and they threw you guys' name around. That's a compliment. That's not nothing derogatory. That's a blessing, because I can't remember when they did. Can you ever remember when African-American coach from HBCU name was thrown around in the Power Fives? I don't recall it. So to me, that's progress. So let's take it for what it is, and then let's enjoy it, and let's really just say, okay, now let's see how we could translate this into bigger things for us. So that's the way I think about it. And I'm excited about it, but it is not deterring me. It does not distract me. I am so locked in and focused right now. I don't know what to do. I'm at home. I'm at the crib now because I had to shoot a commercial. I told my team that. And Coach Zimmer's son, I'm being there for him at the funeral tomorrow here in Dallas. So that's why the background is somewhat different.
Coach, in closing, moving forward, next stop, Alabama A&M, life after Mr. Glass, but it's all about JSU. Just talk about going in there and playing football game.
We don't take them lightly. They're a well-coached team, you know that. I mean, this is a team of 2 seasons away from being the, it was a reduced season champion. So we got to give them their credit. They did that. They won, and they did it fair and square. And we got to go in there and approach them like they're at that level, because anybody could be had in the SWAC, and you know that, in football period. So we're going to go in there and try to pick up where we left off and try to be dominant, pick up where we left off a year ago, pick up where we left off this past week, and pick up where we left off last week. We're going to go in there and try to beat the brakes off them. That's just who we are. They're going to try to do the same. There's nothing disrespectful about that. That's how we go about our business. I don't dislike any coaches. I don't dislike any players. I'm not built like that. Do I want to beat everyone down? Surely so. But it doesn't make me feel better beating this team or that coach than anyone else. I want to win, and I want to win for our kids and our fan base. We have a tremendous fan base. We have a tremendous group of men inside that locker room and women, and that's why we want to be dominant, so these kids can get to the next level.
Have a blessed week, Coach.
You too, my man.
Last question goes to Ken Rashad.
Coach, at 9-0, you're undefeated, and obviously so far it's been a perfect season, if you will. But if you look at a team like this, would you consider this if you were looking at a team like this, is the team a work in progress? I mean, do you think that there is something that this team needs to? I guess what I'm asking is this a team that is looking for the right for answers in terms of is this a team that you're looking for?
Who you talking about? You got me lost now, dog. You got to come on with it now. You got what you talking about? Like, are you talking about us?
Forgive me, Coach.
No, you good. Are you talking about us or
Yes.
Alabama?
I'm asking you if all for all of the good team, your play is what is
where are we where we want to be?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
no, we're definitely not where we want to be. You could say record wise, a lot of people would love to be where we are, but as far as executing, no, we had 13 penalties, man. I mean, that's not us. We didn't even score in the second quarter. That's not us. Like, we got to clean that kind of stuff up if we want to end up where we want to end up, and that's an O. We plan on being an O. I don't know how many wins and O. Matter of fact, let me throw this out at you guys. I always try to give you something to run with. You getting ready for bowl season. Do your homework. If any of my guys are on here, help me out with this. I forgot how many number of teams there are in bowl games. I know that's a bunch of them. Somebody could give me the number. It's a crazy, exuberant amount of teams that have the opportunity to play in a bowl. Why can't that be us? I'm just saying, why can't that be us? You got teams that are virtually 6-5 going to a bowl game. Ain't nobody going to see them play. Ain't nobody turning the channel to witness the foolishness. But you have us that travels deep, travels heavy. Not only that you have us as a people that when one of our schools gets selected by one of these wonderful Fortune 500 companies that are the title sponsor to a bowl game, we will support collectively. Now, it is not then, if you select us to go into this particular bowl game, it's not us against FAM or us against Bethune or it's us together against everybody. That's how we look at it as a people. So I'm just sitting up here trying to find out to one of these wonderful sponsors, wouldn't we be a better option than a 6-5 team in any bowl game? Because we travel deep. The numbers that we project whenever we're on television. So why would you not come to us desiring to have us in a bowl game? Now, this is after the Celebration Bowl. Let's get that straight. That's a goal, the celebration. This is after that. This is a pre New Year's Day bowl game that we would love to have an opportunity to play in. Along with FAMU and some of the other wonderful teams that are doing some wonderful things. Why? Is there a rule or that's just a choice? Because all these companies that are endorsing the title sponsor of these bowl games, if you do the dynamics on what we bring to the table, what we project television-wise, what the capacity that we could attract, I think we check the box in all levels. So why can't that be us? So now what we need to do, I need you guys to help me with all the pre-New Year's Eve day bowl games, and let's just look at all of them. And just go down the line. And then I'm gonna start calling them. Like I don't think Pepsi has a bowl game, but just say, for instance, one of my sponsors, a Pepsi has a bowl game wherever. Wouldn't you want it to be us? Because of what we bring to the table, especially if it's pre-New Year's Day. And then there's also a purse that comes with that game that we would love to have that can help us as a program tremendously. But not only that, give our kids some exposure and expose them to other things in life where they get to go somewhere for 3 or 4 days in another city and just have a wonderful time, as well as prepare to dominate that game. I'm just throwing that out there, ladies and gentlemen. And I need your legs and your pins and your fingers to get to it. You know how we are when we work together. When we work together, boy, we can do anything. Just a question that we're gonna throw out there.
Coach Sanders, as always, we appreciate your time. Look forward to speaking to you again next week.
Thank you. God bless you.